To be here on your Tuesday, and we begin with Decision 2024 because today is Super Tuesday, and the biggest delegate grab in primary season is now underway.
Yeah, voters in more than a dozen states are headed to the polls. President Biden and former President Trump both expected to sweep those states today, but former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley is vowing to stay in the race.
Yeah, NBC's Alice Barr is speaking with voters in Arlington, Virginia, about what's driving them to the polls. Hey, Alice.
Hi, Isabel. Well, no lines here at this Arlington polling location, but we have seen a fairly steady stream of voters heading in. And what they're telling me is basically, they come from different backgrounds. They come from different political beliefs and ages. But what they do seem to have in common is a general lack of enthusiasm for either of the leading candidates. This Super Tuesday, voters from more than a dozen states across the country casting ballots and sounding off on a likely Biden-Trump rematch. From California,
both I don't really agree with, but because of just policy-wise, I would vote for Biden.
Donald Trump, he's a little bit rough around the edges. He was objectively great for this country.
To Utah,
it's either have democracy and a guy that's too old to run it, or democracy ends. Those are your choices.
And Massachusetts.
I voted for Joe.
And why is that?
Well, because he's a decent guy, and I think he's doing a great job. I know he's an older man, but that's our choice.
Younger voters especially voicing frustrations over the candidates' ages. Is age a factor for you?
It definitely is. I mean, especially I work in healthcare, and knowing that as you get older, your memory just naturally starts to get a little weary.
It's just hard to feel represented by someone that's so much older than us.
And a feeling they're not being heard on critical issues like U.S. support for Israel in the war in Gaza. Do you think this is an issue that could and should cost President Biden the election?
This is a time for moral leadership, and yet I'm not seeing that.
Several voters we spoke to are considering a third-party candidate, as former President Trump's sole Republican rival Nikki Haley struggles to break through.
I'm not ready to get out yet. I'm still sitting there fighting for the people that want a voice, and they deserve that.
Voices turning to votes, with the frontrunners moving closer to locking in their party's nominations. Other top issues for voters, both here and across the country: the economy, immigration, and reproductive rights. We'll send it back to you guys.
All right, and Alice, you mentioned there that voters you spoke to are considering third-party candidates. What more are they telling you?
Yeah, I was struck by the fact that out of the voters that we spoke to today, at least 3 of them said they did not want to vote or had not voted for either former President Trump or President Biden. We heard from a couple who said that they wanted to write in RFK Jr., who's running as a third-party candidate. You can't actually do that here in Virginia. It's only a Democratic or a Republican ballot. But one of the young men we spoke to said he had voted for Dean Phillips, who was another one of the Democratic options. So generally just a lack of enthusiasm and a sense of frustration that there are not other options out there right now. Some of them said they know that the system is what it is right now, but they want to start working toward change to maybe have more options in the future.
All right, such an interesting look at voter perspectives here. NBC's Alice Barr live in Arlington, Virginia for us. Alice, thank you.